Hi, how are you doing? It's Corena, and today I wanted to talk about being a sensitive or an empath or a feeler. So there's this thing going on where empaths are shifting away from each other, and they're kind of forming a little bit different groups amongst themselves, and I want to talk about that. A few years ago, there were all these articles out about how narcissists are finding empaths and coupling up with them and using their gifts for themselves. And, that was really true. And of course, as empaths, we have to take responsibility for our part in that. But now, what I've started noticing recently is that there are false gurus finding empaths in order to be the false guru. So there are some people who probably have empathic gifts who are really putting themselves out there in this role of, I want to be the facilitator, the teacher, or the knower, the seer of things. And those of us who are truly empathic, who just want to use our gifts, whatever way, whatever career you give to us, we just want to, be with the people who are in front of us and help them. I'm starting to call them messengers. So when I was in Africa, some of us got gifts in this village, and I was given this gift, and I asked about it. It's made out of soapstone, and it was the messenger, and he or she would bring messages to the village. And what's so interesting is it's blowing on a bullhorn, and in astrology, I'm the bull, I'm a Taurus. So I thought, my gosh, that's so amazing. Then I went to another tribe who knew nothing about the messenger. I was given an African name, and it's Nasuju. It means humble with many grateful followers. And I was told I would have a profound effect on the masses. And as I've sat with that over the last year, I've just thought, I don't really know where to go with that. I was getting away from yoga. I've never tried to be a yoga teacher. Every time I move away from yoga, it follows me and finds me and calls me to it again. So I thought, I'm not really sure how that's going to line up in my life. Well, what I've noticed is those of us who are true empaths, just using our gifts in our life and really trying to do what serves best on this planet as it's given to us, I'm going to call you now the messengers. So you've got to be careful about the empaths who are finding you in order to use your gifts and absorb who you are and make themselves look better, or the false gurus, or the people who just have the personality who are trying to look like the enlightened one, right? Spiritual AF. So here's what it looks like. How do you know if you're a messenger? So there's a couple different ways. As a kid, you probably did zero drugs. Like no matter who your friends were and what they were doing, you probably did none of it. Not because you were afraid of becoming addicted, but you have zero interest in leaving your body. You are probably very different than your siblings, and in all likelihood, not even having anything to do with your siblings right now, because you're so rooted in a different way of being than them that there is no commonality left. So you may have been like the super favored good one in your family, or you may have been the rebel, but either way, you weren't really a fit for your siblings. And at this point, you're actually probably pretty separated from them. And that's, in my opinion, happening on purpose, because you're needing to be in this space where you're cordoned off alone to some degree so that you can receive the messages for the masses instead of just the tribe. We've always been seeking transformation, even when we were young kids. We probably hung out with older people, and older people always loved us and could see something special in us. Some of my best friends when I was growing up were, in their 50s and 60s. And even now, I have vastly different age ranges in my group. That's another sign that you're actually a messenger. The people that surround you, generally speaking, aren't just like you. They all have some little unique thing, and they're kind of lone wolves, although they fit into society really well. So we have this oxymoron of being a loner, but we also end up being leaders, and people perceive us as very connected. Another symptom is we're sought out for things that we're not even seeking to obtain. The career that you're in right now, probably in all likelihood, is something that you haven't really tracked your whole life to become, but each opportunity was given, and as you're moving in a specific direction, something comes in from the side that's a gift for you that you say yes to. Money and power don't really mean anything to us. We don't kowtow to somebody who has a lot of power and money, and we don't find anyone, including ourselves, more or less favorable depending upon our stature or our bank account. And we're around people who we know feel that way. We've also drawn some really toxic people to us in our lives, and it often surprises us who they are. Sometimes it's friends and sometimes it's family. And when we finally open our eyes and go, oh my gosh, this person is actually toxic. It's we have such love and loyalty for somebody. It's hard for us to even see who they truly are because we're always buying into their potential. We have a lot of power or a lot of money. We're always sharing it with the people around us. We want people to be empowered. We want people to be financially well off. And even without asking, we'll give. And yet, people often don't reciprocate to us. For one thing, we don't ask for it very often, but for another, they just expect that they don't have to do anything for us. So it set us up in our lifetime for being a martyr. And if you're really a messenger right now, you're done with that pattern. It's not that you need to shout at somebody or blame somebody. You're just starting to see where people have used you for your power, your gifts, or what opportunities you could provide for them, and they're not reciprocating it. In fact, you're probably a messenger if in the last couple of years, anybody that you've done a lot of really wonderful things for is starting to turn their back on you. So here's what it looks like right now. In the last, maybe, 4 or 5 years, you were really at some pinnacle and you had a lot going on. You might have developed a great reputation as, this financial person, or this, someone who's famous in this community, or somebody who can give a lot of opportunities over here, and you were really at the height of your game, and you started just feeling this sense of energy coming in, kind of starting to take things away or reveal things to you that you were no longer interested in trying to keep close to you. And in the last 2 years, you've been in this really alone but not lonely space. You just start noticing nobody else is like me. And you're okay with it, and you'd like to find a tribe, but you're unwilling to jump towards something just to tape things together, such as this. You don't just jump towards other people so that you can have a group of friends. You don't just move towards somebody because they can financially help you out. Even if you're in financial stress, you just won't do it. You're waiting for the right people at the right time for the right reason. So right now, if you've been in that space, I'm going to gather us together. We are the messengers, and we don't need to be alone in this, and it's a tough job. We're the warriors of the world. We're the people that when we see others being bullied, even if we have no stake in the game, we jump in and we get shit done. Like, we don't put up with that at all. And we will take a bullet for someone automatically. We don't even try, we don't even think about it. We don't retract when there's a problem. We step forward and in. And even though we're generally speaking really peaceful people, and we talk about compassion and love, and people see us as very kind, when we see any kind of bullying, we move into it, and this spiritual warrior comes out of us so quickly. So we're going to gather together. Right now is our time. We're being called forward. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We're the ones who are going to hold this together and move mass consciousness into a new paradigm. So come with me on this journey. I'd love to have you with me.